Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliet. So in this video I'll be showing you how to make this simple boo gown. So here I have my fabric. It's folded into two using my shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus the sleeve length I'm working with and extra 2 inches. So shoulder divided by 2, that is 8, and then sleeve length, which is 8 plus 2 inches, making it 10 plus 8, that is 18 altogether. So I have 18 inches here on fold for both front and back pieces. So for the length, we'll be marking it later. So far the length is the entire length of the Ankara that is folded here. So I have both front and back pieces placed on top of each other. So next off, I'm ruling a line on this upper piece. This is the edge of the Ankara piece. We are going to be cutting that off. So all my measurements are going to start from that line. So I'm marking the length of the dress. I'm working with the length of 42. So I'm marking 42 as the length all across. And then using my ruler, I'm going to draw a straight line at that point. So next up, I am marking the shoulder to the hip line. I marked the half length, but that is not necessary. The hip line is what we need. So the shoulder to the hip line, I marked 24.5 inches. Here I marked the shoulder divided by 2, which is 8, and then I'm going to, from that point, mark the sleeve length I'm working with, which is 8 as well. So the remaining inches there are going to be used to hem the sleeve later on. So I came down by 1 inch at that point, and then I'm coming in by 3 inches at this folded end, and I'm going to connect with my ruler like so. So next up, from that point, I'm marking the sleeve opening, and I am working with 8.5. So I'm going to add 1 inch to that and then mark 9.5. So I'm marking the same thing inward a bit to connect the lines straight, and then I will mark quarter of the bust measurement I'm working with on that line. That's the bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch of ease and 2 inches of allowance. Then on the hip line also, I'll mark quarter of the hip measurement plus 2 inches of ease and then 2 inches of allowance. So if you notice, the dress has an exaggerated hip. That is why we're adding 2 inches of ease on the hip line. So on the hemline, we're going to mark exactly quarter of the hip measurement. We're not adding any ease to it. We'll only add 2 inches of allowance. So the next step, I will connect all the lines together using my ruler. So I'm marking quarter of the bust measurement plus 1 inch of ease and then 2 inches of allowance up here. So next I'm going to cover this point like so to connect the body and the sleeve. So I'm marking quarter of the shoulder, half of the shoulder measurement, and then the sleeve length again, so I get a straight line and then connect to the upper part. So next I'm marking the neck width. I marked 3 inches, and then the neck depth for the front I'm marking 4 inches. So the neck for the front is 3 inches wide and 4 inches deep. I'm going to square that up and then make a curve, as you can see. Then I will be marking the back neckline, which is 1.5 inches deep and then 3 inches wide, just like the front. I will also be curving that like so. So next we're going to cut. So you notice I didn't cut past that sleeve length line. You'll know why in a bit. So after cutting the back neckline, I lifted up the upper piece and I'm cutting the front neckline only on that piece. So next up on this hemline, I'm going to fold it in at that point. That is where the length of our dress is. I folded it in and then I'm going to be cutting out on this line like so. That excess is what we're going to use to hem the lower part. So on this sleeve side as well, I'm folding it in just like we did the hem before cutting through the lines, as you can see. I'm notching the point where the line is on both sides. I'll do the same thing on the hem of the dress where the length is exactly. So next up, I will be notching where the inseam pockets are going to be. So what you do is you measure from the shoulder to where your half length is and then make a notch. I think I marked 8 inches down from that armhole point, but I will advise you mark your half length point from the shoulder. That is the best place for your pocket to start. So I make a notch there. We're going to be using that later. So next I went ahead to cut facing pieces for both the front and the back, but unfortunately I lost that clip. But I have a video where I demonstrated how to cut facing for a neckline that is exactly the same with this one, so I'm going to link it down below. Next I'll be cutting the pocket. I just placed my hand like so and then draw a round shape around it, making sure the side that is open is at least 8 inches wide. So I'm just cutting around that curve, as you can see, and then because it's on fold I have to cut it open into two. I'm going to place that again and cut another pair, making it 4 pieces in total. So next off, these are the facing pieces. This is the one for the front. Like I said, I will link a video down below where you see how to sew this facing, but I'm placing it right sides together on the front part. This is the front facing, so it's going to have an opening that is about 4 inches wide. So I'm going to sew, come down 4 inches and then go back up like so. That is for the front. So we're going to repeat the same thing for the back, only that for the back piece there is no opening, so we'll just be sewing it round using half of an inch. So now on the side where we notched earlier, I'm going to place one pocket piece. The pocket pieces should be right sides together, so the right side of the pocket should be on the right side of the main body of the dress. So I'm going to pin starting from that point we notched all the way to wherever it stops. Your pocket should be about 8 inches wide at least at that point. So I'm going to do the same thing, pin it on this side again, right sides together. Pinning on the right side, and the right side of the pocket piece is facing the right side of the dress. So that is it for the front. And then this is the back. This is the back facing. Is a lot smaller since we don't have any opening. You can see it's exactly the neck. I traced out the neckline and then added some inches all around it. So we're going to be placing it right sides together on the back piece, same way we did the front. So I'm pinning it around. We'll just take it to the machine and sew using 1/2 inch. And then the pocket pieces again, the same thing we did for the front. I'm going to place them right sides together, starting from that point where we notched and to wherever it stopped. So next up, I've sewn the facing. I used hemming gum to iron it on the wrong side. Then I used hemming gum on the sleeves and then the hem of the dress as well. I just folded it, used hemming gum to fold it in place. So next up, we'll be joining the front and the back pieces together. So the markings we made earlier already showing are still showing. So from the sleeve opening, we're going to follow it like that through to the pocket. So I'm turning it to this other side. So I'm going to mark the sleeve opening like so. Then here I'm marking 1/4 of the bust measurement plus 1 inch of ease. Then I'll connect it to that sleeve opening point. And then the hip measurement at that point, 1/4 of the hip plus 2 inches of ease like so. So we're going to connect it into the pocket pieces all around the pocket and then back and then down to the hem. But before then, we will be joining the shoulders together. So placing both front and back pieces right sides together, we're going to join them on the shoulder. I'm going to open one facing piece and then turn it to the other side such that both front and back pieces will be in the middle, and then sew down on one side and then repeat the same on the other side. After doing that, I will also go ahead and sew the sides on the lines that we have marked like that. So I've sewn them together now, and this is what our dress is looking like, and that is basically it. You don't need more than this. The dress is ready. I'll turn it to the right side now and then give it a good press, and that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends, leave a comment below, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It means a lot to me. Also click on the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.